problem building over here, particularly for businesses in the United Kingdom. And as we go through this cost of living crisis, it's interesting to note exactly how certain businesses are allowed to operate when seemingly they're not necessarily the businesses that they started out to be. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to see you today. I hope you're all keeping well, whatever you're doing. Talking about cost of living crisis, I wanted to tell you this. I don't know about you, I still love all the traditional desserts and old puddings. Sure you can tell. Arctic roll. I don't know if anybody knows what an Arctic roll is, but of course Arctic roll is a bit like a sponge cake with ice cream in the centre. But one of my favourite ever sort of desserts, and it's not everybody's flavour, is semolina. You know the one? I just find it's a very much a warming, milky treat, isn't it, you know? And that used to be an affordable treat, didn't it? A colleague of mine went out to buy me some recently. Couldn't believe it. £1.59 a tin. Used to be about 69p. And it was one of those staples, wasn't it, that you had, you know, and thought you can afford it, it's all right, you know? And I remember that at school. Do you remember things like rice pudding, tapioca? Do you remember that one? We used to call it frog spawn. Do you remember those old puddings? Strange, isn't it? What was a good pudding now is seen by the younger generation as like, ooh, what, really? You ate this? I still like them. As I told you, jam roll and custard. You can't beat that after your Sunday lunch, can you? This all really goes about, you know, with the way that things have changed, if you like, particularly with brands. And this is now being the bigger problem over here in the United Kingdom, simply because when you think about it, these companies all start off pretending, of course, to offer you the very best value in money, and they entice you in with their eye-catching logos and allegedly the reasons behind why we should go in. Let's take, for instance, the brand like Poundland. That made its money on simply being a very good value pound shop. It took over really here in the United Kingdom simply because there was no Woolworths that had closed down and they found a gap in the market. Others followed suit, like Pound World, the 99p shop. But now when you go to any pound shop, although they're still called Poundland, there are very few things in the store that are still valued at £1, yet they're allowed to trade on that name. We contacted the Office of Fair Trading and they said that they simply registered the company. It didn't state that they would continue to sell the product for £1 forevermore. Another similar situation over here in the United Kingdom is this. A bakery decided to start up, calling itself the Pound Bakery. Very good idea, you would think, of course. And when you also consider the fact that basically it's a spin-off of a major chain of bakeries, and all they really do is sell off the day-old, two-day-old bread, biscuits, cakes, pastries that they've been unable to sell at full price in their major outlets. And it did incredibly well. On a recent visit when we were back up in Yorkshire, the Pound Bakery seemingly doesn't have now anything for £1 to sell. Yes, you can get things for £1.30, £1.70, all of that sort of stuff. But once again, when I questioned this, they said, well, it's just the name of the company. These companies are not alone, let me tell you. But now there's going to be a very big investigation, particularly into businesses that start with a very, very small idea, using a name to lure customers in, and then basically claim, oh, well, the cost of living crisis means we've had to put the prices up. If you're trading on the high street with a website, and of course in national marketing, whether that be online, in newspapers, digital, all of that sort of stuff, then truly you should live up to the name that you're trading on. For now, it appears that these people have found a loophole in the market, but seemingly very soon, and hopefully very soon, there will be a legal loophole that they'll have to adhere to. And if they say it's called Poundland, or indeed the Pound Bakery, then they will need to sell a certain amount of items at that said price. Now, I don't know about you and what it's like in your part of the world, but I'd love to know whether you've suffered the same fate, because, as I say, as we all struggle with the cost of living crisis, you go into these places thinking you're going to grab a bargain, when in fact what you're actually doing is paying more or less the same price, but this time around for day and two-day-old food, and for products, particularly in Poundland, that you can buy far cheaper in the main stores, and normally for a larger size too. As ever, do let me know what you think to this story in the comments below, and let me know if it's very similar to this in your part of the world. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.